Now you're live.
Hello, hey, thanks for joining us. My name is Krystal. I'm with the Dog Psychology and Training Center, and today's Facebook Live we're going to be talking about the distraction ladder. We often talk about making your training doable but challenging, but we've yet to make a Facebook Live that breaks it down into how to achieve that success. So what we're going to walk through today is taking your dog from sitting in the living room when nobody's home to sitting when the whole family's home and you're eating dinner, or you have company over, or you're at the park, or you want to go downtown. And it's just each of those environments is significantly more challenging than the previous. So our distraction ladder is our way of showing a visual to us to say, okay, what's going to be the easiest thing my dog can sit through? Generally, we start by having your dog hold a sit and walking a circle around them and then giving them the release cue. For us, we don't say sit, stay. It's just sit and the dogs know to keep waiting until we give them permission to get up, which is our break command. And so what we do is start by going one circle around them. And then as soon as we get that, we say break. But for some dogs, that might be too challenging. So again, backing up your distraction ladder and thinking, okay, that's not doable yet. It's way too challenging. What's even easier? Having your dog sit, stepping a little to the left, stepping a little to the right, and then break. And then rewarding your dog for that. And then the next time, maybe step a little bit more to the left and then a little bit more to the right. And so you start to broaden that circle until you're going a full circle. Once your dog has achieved that, then what's the next step harder? For us, we generally start, if your dog really loves toys, then we'll go with food next. If your dog really loves food, we'll go with toys next. So first step, walking the circle. Second step, a little bit harder. If your dog likes food, we're gonna go with toys first, because that's not going to be as challenging. So start with their least favorite toy, and then the next step up will be a more favorite toy, and then a more favorite toy until you get to the most favorite toy. And then you're going to start with their least favorite food, so probably their kibble that they eat every day. And then once your dog is holding a sit as you're dropping those kibble on the ground until you say that release word break, then you're going to go to the next higher step, which would be maybe their least favorite treat. And you're going to rank all of the treats that you have in your house from least favorite to most favorite until you get to human food. And then if your dog's allowed to have some human food and not others, start with the human food that your dog's not interested in. So generally that's more bland foods, maybe some vegetables, unless it's the opposite at my house. Vegetables are my dog's biggest weakness. And so if we get out carrots, like that's gonna be really hard for her. So we're gonna start with potato chips and popcorn, because she doesn't really care about those and they're not gonna stain my floor. So I may have her hold a sit and have one of my kids walk by about 10 feet away and accidentally spill some potato chips on the ground. If she doesn't try to get up, I'm going to say break, not let her get those food because she's not allowed to have that food to begin with, and then praise her for that. And then I'll have my kids get a little bit closer, so maybe they're 5 feet away, and if the dog's successful, then I'll go a little bit closer, and so maybe they're walking by 2 feet away and they accidentally spill some food. And I say accidentally because if your kids walk by your dog and go like this, your dog knows you're on to them. They know you did it, you planted it. They're not gonna fall for that. And they might, but they're surely not gonna fall for it the next time. So what I do is have my kids walk by and they'll just accidentally let a little bit of food fall off their plate as they keep walking. Like they didn't mean to. That's an accidental dropping food. Once you've got to that point, then maybe it's the front door. And so the front door, break that down into steps on your distraction ladder. So instead of just going straight outside or letting people come in, what's gonna be the easiest step? I always tell people, think of your distraction ladder. If you ever did this in high school, I was in a creative writing class and we had to write a how-to paper. And I thought, I'll do braiding hair. That seems easy enough. Oh my goodness, it was not. It was so hard. It was like a 3-page paper on how to braid hair because we had to break it down into every little step. First, you prep with your supplies, and then you have to part your hair into 3 equal parts. Well, how do you do that? And so the same thing for every new distraction you're gonna do with your dog. So with the front door, you're gonna start by just reaching for the handle. Your dog's probably gonna get up because they think they're gonna go outside or that somebody's coming in. So don't even plan on opening the door, just reaching for that handle. If your dog breaks, you're immediately gonna turn your attention to them, no sit, get them back into a sit position, and then try reaching for that handle again. And you're gonna keep doing this, you're gonna keep doing this until your dog can hold that sit as you jiggle the handle. Still not opening the door, just jiggling the handle. Then you're gonna release your dog. Break, praise them, do something else for a few seconds, and then come back, have them sit, and then turn the handle. And then once you're turning the handle and your dog's sitting successfully through that, then you're gonna start by cracking the door. Don't even plan on swinging it all the way open yet, too fast. Just cracking it a little bit. And then after you can crack it a little bit and your dog's still holding a sit like, this is boring, that's when you know you're ready to move to the next step. So each rung of this distraction ladder is another step in the training process of getting your dog to hold its command through a very hard and challenging situation. Obviously, we're starting with silly, easy things at first, but these things are still really hard for you. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If somebody sits down a plate of chocolate donuts in front of me, I'm gonna be really tempted to eat them. And so it might be easier to start with something that I don't like as much. And so this is what this process is doing for your dogs. It's starting with something that's not as exciting and getting to something that's really exciting. So going back to the door as part of our distraction ladder, you're gonna have your dog hold this command until each time you try to do the next step, your dog's bored. So you can actually open the door all the way, your dog's still sitting there bored, you're stepping outside and then coming back in, closing the door and releasing your dog. And then the next step would be having you go outside, your dog's still holding a sit on the inside of the house, you step outside, and then you break your dog, say break, to let your dog come follow you outside. Then what's harder than that? Actually having somebody knock on the door, but not on the outside of the door. Probably you just knocking on the inside of the door is gonna be hard enough for your dog, and they're gonna break their command without you telling them. They're gonna stop doing their sit command because they're gonna get so excited and forget they're sitting, get up and start barking and dancing. So again, get them back into their sit command and knock again. And you're gonna keep repeating this, rinse and repeat, until you can knock on the door and your dog's just like, you're so lame. And that's when you know you can go to the next step. If you have kids in the house, this is gonna be really helpful for you. If not, if you have a neighbor kid or a friend or even a neighbor adult that can come help you, you're gonna have them come knock on the door every minute or every 2 minutes, but you're not gonna answer the door. So your dog's gonna sit there as they knock and keep working through this process until you can actually have your dog holding the sit as your neighbor's knocking, and you open the door and let them come into your house and your dog's still holding the sit. But you don't get there overnight. We don't do the distraction ladder in one day. This takes weeks and sometimes months to achieve, depending on the diligence that you're putting into your training lessons and the frequency of which you're setting them up. So don't do more than 20 minutes at a time. 20 minutes is the maximum that we ask any dog to work at a time, just because after that 20-minute mark, that's like the equivalent of them working 8 hours at work. If you start to work past that 8 hours, you know how mentally foggy you get. Your dog's the same way, and they're gonna start being naughty, not because they're being bad, but because their brain can't take anymore and they're losing focus. So no more than 20 minutes at a time, one 20-minute session per day, and like I said, every day for a course of weeks or even months to build up to this distraction ladder. I use sit as an example in this exercise, but you can also use this for the down command, for the place command, for the come command, and all you need is a piece of paper, and at the bottom you're gonna write your goal, and at the top you're gonna write the easiest first step. But be patient with yourself. If you have a step that's too hard, go back a step and keep working on it until you get to that next step and it's not so hard. Doable but challenging is the phrase that we're looking for in our distraction ladder. If it's too easy, your dog's gonna be bored and not want to participate. If it's too hard, your dog's gonna feel like a failure and not want to participate. Doable but challenging is that right amount to make your dog feel like, oh, this is hard, yay, I did it, I'm awesome. So I hope this was helpful for you. I wanted to make it short but sweet and still be jam-packed with a ton of helpful information for you and your dog. We go live every Thursday at 7:30. So if you have any questions or a topic you'd like us to talk about next week, please put that in the comments, and we'd love to help you with your dog next week on our Facebook Live. Bye, guys.